I've been hurt, babe. That ain't no lie. Just seen them all come and go.
You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
This is Where You Live. I am Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. As an American Family agent, Kim believes that there is so much more to insurance than the policy itself. It's about providing you with dependable protection and services. Kim believes that trust and credibility can't be demanded. It can only be earned by what you say and what you do. Give her a call at 651-482-1598 and tell her Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Minnesota Multifamily Association. The MHA Minute is brought to you by Start to Finish Maintenance Contractors. Start to Finish provides 24-hour service for all your home and business maintenance needs. Call Start to Finish today at 952-259-1219 for your home, for your business, for your peace of mind.
Do you need products to successfully run your rental property business? Interested in a class about fair housing or rekeying locks? Want to use the plain language lease that is used by the majority of rental property owners in Minnesota? Then you should visit mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com. That's the website for the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, the most comprehensive resource in the state for owners of everything from a duplex to hundreds of units, and for townhome and condo associations as well. They've been around for 40 years and put on hundreds of seminars, publish a monthly magazine, sell Attorney General approved leases, and have countless other tools for property owners. While they are a membership organization, all of their resources and seminars and their annual convention and their spring conference and their orientation programs are open to everyone. For more information, visit the website, mmha.com.
We're talking today about, from the Chicago Tribune from January 31st, a news article that's talking about major laws that are now in force in 2014 dealing with HOAs in the state of Illinois. And we've talked about solar and wind power. We've talked about them wanting to deal with the area of conflicts of interest, dealing with a HOA board entering into a contract with family and friends and what needs to be done there. And all along here, we've been talking about how badly written a number of these provisions have been stated. And I'd like to just, on a side note here, just say there's an important lesson here for everybody living in an HOA that's on the board. If you are going to also be involved in rewriting rules and regulations, there's a couple things to remember. First of all, make sure that you define things well. Remember, in one of the laws concerning solar and wind power, there was a subjective word used that really isn't defining anything at all. And remember, if you don't define things, you're not going to be able to have something that's measurable. You know, for example, a good law is you can't speed. And speed is defined as the posted speed on markers on the road. And so sometimes it'll be can't go above 35 miles an hour. Sometimes you can't go above 65. But the posted speed limits let you know that's definable. It's measurable. The person's going past 65 miles an hour, you can give them a ticket, and there's a reason why. When you say and put in a law like the legislators did in Illinois saying you can't do anything that's going to adversely affect other people, what does that mean? What is it that they said? Who knows? It's open to interpretation. It's open to lawsuits is what I see happening. And so remember, if you're on a board and you're going to change your rules and regulations, don't act like the legislature. Make sure that you have things that are well defined, and that means it's going to be measurable. Because if you do, then you can have consequences. That's the other thing. All of these laws, there are no consequences if a person doesn't do them. And so remember, if you don't have things defined well, you don't have things measurable, you don't have consequences, you don't have a law. You don't have a rule. You just have a suggestion. All right. And so that is what's happening here. The state of Illinois making some grand suggestions of what should take place. Here is another area that they wanted to get involved with, and that is in the licensing of property managers. It says that association management firms, as well as all individual practitioners, must have a license. And that means it's going to be a specific license just for the management of homeowner associations. The person was quoted in this article said that it says, this additional license is similar to the real estate profession. The salespeople, the managing broker, and the company are all licensed. I'm going to go one further on you. My understanding with the state of Illinois is that the law there concerning real estate is very much the same as Minnesota. In Minnesota, we have a state statute, chapters 82, 83, that deals with real estate. And it states unequivocally that if you're going to sell or manage real estate for a fee, for money, you must be licensed. That license that you have is a real estate license. Here, the state of Illinois wants to create another set of licensing that will be needed just for association managers. I will tell you that if something like that ever came down the pike here, I would fight that here in Minnesota. It's not needed because it is redundant. Stop and think about it. A real estate license, or any license for anything, whether it's to practice law or to practice medicine, it is not a standard of what is all of the major things that a person must do. It is just a test to show that the bare minimum has been achieved. I can tell you, I don't want a doctor who just barely passed his board exams to necessarily be the one who's going to operate on me. I'm not necessarily going to let the attorney represent me who just barely passes the bar exam. That is a minimum requirement. The same is true with real estate. Once you are in law, you pass the bar exam and have done that bare minimum. Now you move forward in specializing in a specific area. The same thing happens in real estate. In this particular case, for myself and for those in my company, we began dealing with specializing in HOAs. We have a division that specializes in commercial property. I started out in specializing in real estate sales, but that changed. And if I wanted to get into another area of business, I had to show proficiency. I had to move from there. The licensing was already in place. And so here, the state of Illinois, they are redundant. They already have something in place that could be a way of providing for the necessary protections, and that is through the real estate license itself. Okay. One of the things that's interesting here is that it mentions in this article that there were other laws that were considered but did not pass. And one of those was the notion of allowing the association to have the ability to recover delinquent assessments going back further than the current restrictions. Right now, an association can go back only so many months after a foreclosure to collect for unpaid dues. I think this ought to be considered. The legislators didn't even look at this. This was a chance where they could have made some real significant changes and for the betterment of the entire industry if they allowed associations to collect for all of the past dues. When you think about it, A homeowners association is no different than a county or city. When a county or city has someone who doesn't pay the property taxes, when the new buyer comes, the first thing that new buyer has to do is to make up all of those delinquent taxes, because the rest of the taxpayers otherwise have to bear that burden. The same should happen in an HOA as well. Well, hopefully they'll take a look at that and that won't go away. But one thing that is going away now is our show. That's all the time that we have. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend, and I look forward to having you here next Saturday on Where You Live.